Hey, what's up, Full Ride Nation? Back for another one. All y'all that don't know me, former D1 walk-on turn starter, here to help you guys with all your basketball hopes and dreams. Here for your daily motivational. This video, I had to get back to Jason Whitlock because I just found out some information about the guy that I'm gonna read to you guys right now. That makes this Jason Whitlock thing even more ridiculous and even more of a twilight zone. We were just talking about it, and I had text my coach, my former D1 basketball coach, and he's texted me back and said, Jason Whitlock played Division I football. I said, no way. There's no way this guy played Division I football talking about a Division I coach this way, because that would mean that he actually knows what goes into being, a college basketball, a college athlete, not basketball, college athlete. So it got me to do a little bit digging. And my coach was 100% correct. He did play college football at Ball State University. But as I read on, it all made sense as to why he hates on Deion Sanders. And I'm going to read you guys some excerpts from his own words in an article that was written about him in his own words, Jason Whitlock. And it all makes sense. He was an underachiever who was very lazy, who didn't want to put the work and the effort into being great. So when he sees a guy like Dion doing all of these things, calling it out ahead of time, and then actually performing it, it bothers people like him. Let me tell you the two excuses guys are going to give you that felt like they should have made it to the NBA, the NFL, or whatever the case is. Me and one of my friends were talking about this. She played college basketball on the girls team. And she told me, you know what the two things are, Chris? And they're going to say it was their coach or they were injured. If it wasn't for those two things, I would have gave Michael Jordan a run for his money. And so let me just read this to you real quick. I ain't going to hold you too long. Let me just read to you in your own word, in his own words. This is Jason Whitlock now. So he apparently played on a nationally ranked high school team, right? So he said when he went to college, so he got a scholarship to Ball State University, football scholarship. So he originally wanted to be an accounting major. I got into a math class my freshman year and said, nope, I don't want to be an accounting major. So right there, walks into a math class and thinks that it's too hard. So instead of buckling down and doing the work and learning, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I think I want to be a journalist. It seems to be a little bit easier. Now, I'm paraphrasing that. So he switched his major to journalism and wanted to be a writer. So then he said I mostly played football and socialized. Then in my 5th year of school, I joined a student newspaper with the goal of being a sports writer. So at that point, he basically quits the football team. In his own words, he says that he was basically too lazy to continue to play football. Again, didn't want to put in the work. He calls himself lazy. And so what you have to say to yourself, guys, and this is what makes what he's talking about even worse. He was too lazy of a person to put in the work to be good at football, to the point that he got into something that he felt was easier, which was being a newspaper reporter. And I'm not going to keep on reading. I'm going to paraphrase this. I'm going to give you guys clip notes. So at that point, he starts to cover the football team that he played on. And then he starts to write disparaging things about the team, to a point where the coach had to get involved and wanted to ask him what was going on, but he said that eventually got worked out. But here we are again. Another guy like Stephen A. Smith, who wants to go and disparage a team that he's really not good enough to be on, and trying to get the coaches and things like that fired, because he said that he considered going back to play, but he felt like he was not going to do too well because of the coach. Again, it's the coach. The coach, because of his coach, he hated football and he wasn't going to do well. And he was lazy and all of these type of things. So when I hear him talking about Deion Sanders and what Deion Sanders is doing, and Deion Sanders is morally wrong and all this other nonsense that comes from a position of a guy who's lazy, who's a loser, who's a quitter, who's not going to put the same amount of work in that a guy like Dion did, who takes a program that only won one game the previous year. And he has to go out and do all of this work. What Dion did, you can't be lazy. You can't be a quitter. You can't walk into the class and say, nope, I'm not going to do this. This is too tough. What's the next easiest thing that I can go find? And then let me quit on this team and then go write bad about them. Can't do that. But in the world, the twilight zone that we're in now, you can take a lazy guy who quit, who didn't want to put the work in, who obviously was not that good in college, can now broadcast his poisonous opinion to millions of people, millions of youth, and try and disrupt something good that's going on. So like I said, when you remove logic and reason from the conversation, I guess it makes sense what he's doing. Because if you aspire to be lazy, don't want to put the work in, give up at the first sign of toughness, then hey, maybe Jason Whitlock is the type of person that you need to be listening at. But for everyone else, I think that we need to look at the greatness that Dion is doing for a program, and we all aspire to continue to be great. Anyway, Full Ride Nation, I just had to bring you that. But that's that's Jason's Whitlock. That's out of his own words. And if you guys want to look up the article, it is called Jason Whitlock in his own words, interviewed by Jake Eisenberg and Coffee Yaboa. Okay? Full Ride Nation, that's it. I gotta go. Y'all know the drill. Let's compete.